In this video help tutorial, what we're going to do is on the Data Manager screen, we're going to go through in detail for all the fields, and then we're going to open up each one of these individual screens here and show you the information and tell you how it's used. So let's go ahead and start. The first thing I want to cover is that we said that these fields on this side were for the individual on this record identified by the ID. If we went to the next record by doing do action and click next record, it would take you to the next record in the set. But as we pointed out a little earlier, if you have a list view of all the records, you can go generally directly to that. And of course, there's only one record right now, but there are additional records as they're added that will be in here. So for example, if I went from example record to Mary Smith and Frank Jones and so forth, they'd all be listed here. I can either look for, say if there's 1,000 records and I wanted to just use the find, I could click on this, start a find. It would flip the record over and give me the ability to go ahead and put in something as far as a text field or anything. So I'm going to put EX, and I'm not even going to, let's do EX down here because okay, if I do EX instead of putting example, you would think, well, that won't work. Well, of course it will. If I go up to the top of the screen and say perform the find, it'll flip the screen back over, and one of the little things that flashed up there was an example of something I want to show you. If I click on this and it brings it up, if you click on it now, you're going to see where it says there's no omitted records and there's one in selection. If I had multiple records and I only got one record from the search, then all the records that were omitted would be shown over here as omitted. I could click on show all, it would bring all the records back, and then I could scan through them by going to previous record to next record. In this particular case, I have a found set of 1 and I'm on record 1. So that's how that is used. If I go back over here and I say done, I can go back in and I can say, okay, well, all the list views are actually almost identical to this. They have a show button over here, so you can say show the record. And the two top items we've already covered because they're on the previous screen we've shown. Let's go ahead and click on this and take us back to the Data Manager screen. And now on the Data Manager screen, let's go through and look at the individual popovers. The first one is the add internet data. Now we did cover a little bit of this, but we didn't cover all of it. Internet site owner would be in an internet website, especially if there is a login required. This particular record and each record that you put in there would be pertinent to how you access that particular website. Now you don't necessarily have to have a username and password on a website. These would be just left blank if there wasn't. But what that would give you the ability to do is if you had information that was important to you on a website, for example, if you had an investment and you were on the investment screen and you just wanted to note a website where you don't have to log into it, but it has supporting information for what you're doing, you could add that to this database, put the URL in, paste off the something like Google Chrome, and paste in the URL in here to the database. And then, of course, from then on in, you could open that website, and you would have providing information for that particular thing, like the website type. In this case, it's an internet provider, and the website name. And down here, this is a Google account services, and it's google.com and so forth. You can see how that works. There is a username and password required if you use Google to get into the different services like Gmail, Calendar, and so forth. So that would be important. If you had comments or whatever, you would put your comments at about each individual website, and of course you could have as many as you want in this record. Let's go ahead and look at the next one, which is applications login. The big change in this record is that we're looking at individual applications either on a tablet, iPhone, or on a computer, or it could be on the cloud. And what you're doing in this particular one is you're providing information that is related to those particular sites that you're going into. In this case, I put Apple Pages, which is the page layout product from Apple Inc. And this is Apple's website. Now, if there was a specific site that you wanted to go to that was a URL that included something directly about Pages, you could add that in here instead of just the Apple site. For example, if I say open the website from this on this record, what it's going to do, it's going to go directly into Apple. And in that case, you could pick anything, either do a search for Pages. You know, if I did and clicked it, it would let me to go in and do a find and store accessories, iPad, and so forth. And it would link me right back over to that particular screen. Now when you're done in this screen, you can either cycle back to from one screen to the next that you were in up here. or you can go in and say, I'm done and I want to go back, and you can go back. You can click in and be in the portal individual record. Let's just pop over and pop back. So this is the Apple record that we just saw. If we wanted to go back, we go back to the data manager screen. You can see with one click how fast we can navigate through the application. And as you're looking at this, you can see that there's not a second record in here, but you could have many records from many different software products, especially the ones that have usernames and passwords and serial numbers when you buy, when you do purchase it, and what's the support, either the support phone, or you could put in the support URL in here, so that it could take you right to that URL to make comments. If you need support, you could put the comments over here. For example, I use a Mac with Parallels on it, and it seems like I'm always going to Parallels to get information. What's really nice, once you have this in here, you can be on the screen, and when you talk to them, you can have your notes from the last time you talked to them. You can go directly to the right spot to access their information. If you needed to, you could call them, and you could have the date and serial number and all the stuff you need that they will be asking for. And if it's really detailed stuff that you're not certain they'll ask about, but you need to have it, you can always pop up and add it into the text field, and that way it would be there providing you information when you need to at that particular place. Okay, let's go next to the bank accounting. Bank accounting is what you expect it to be. It would be the bank name, the address city, its main phone, its agent that you have, depending on if they have an agent particularly for you. In some banks, you would actually call your own bank, and you would have an agent that you may be contacting normally, and then that agent's name, the URL for that particular website, the username and password for getting on, say, a website like Chase Bank. You'd have to have your login information, and that's why this is a secure app, and it's access control where you have to log into it, so people can't see all this information, serial numbers and all that kind of stuff. You could open the website by clicking on that. If you had a URL that was accurate, in this case I don't think it is, I just put it in there, it would take you there. And what kind of account is this? Well, this is checking. If you had to have a savings, a homeowner's loan, and or whatever, you could have as many records as you need. As soon as you create one here, it'll create the next record in the row, and then you can scroll to the next record if you wanted to. And of course, there's a portal record for each one of these, as we've seen before, with more detailed in this particular screen. This is especially nice if you're using an iPhone, because it's set up to view with an iPhone and scroll right down, up and down this line. So let's go ahead and go back to the data manager. Now, one of the things I want to pop out when we're talking about this is if you're using an iPhone, this is also set up so you can scroll right into this area and see all this, and then scroll over to see the rest of the stuff on the side. So for that, from that standpoint, it makes it pretty simple to manage information and look at the information you're concerned at looking at. This particular one is add insurance data, pretty straightforward. Insurance company, address city, type of insurance that you have, maybe it's a car loan or life insurance or whatever, the agent's name that you normally use, their URL, and then the username and password if you have to log into the website. Most of those websites, if you have a policy with them, you're going to have to log in. If you have policies with them, you can list over here the policies and identify each policy ID number, and you can copy and paste right out of the their website and paste right into here if you need to, or go ahead and just make a snapshot of the screen and then come over and paste it in. Okay, in this case, support phone, and again the portal, slipping over to the portal. Not a lot of data in there. There's no reason for me to put a lot of data in when we're only using these for demonstration purposes. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is investments. Investments is very much like insurance. For example, Ameritrade, an IRA. This is my wife's IRA. The agent I normally talk to, the telephone number at the place, and that's a bogus number. The address city and username and password of the location for the website where they have the information, the website URL, and of course again you can use the popover to open up Ameritrade. And let's just do it for heck of it to see if it'll open. I don't know if it's, yeah, there you go. I didn't know if that was exact one. I just threw it in there and in general, and by the way, you could log right in. It's kind of nice. And then you can add for menus and either open account or check your own and log in to your own account. And of course you can move back and forth if you change from page to page. You're done. And also now in this area, for example, if I have investments, I do have an account number and I have a term duration. If this is a car insurance and the term is from so-so to so-so, and renewable down here, I'd say it's renewable every August, and I just put all the information that relates to it so I have that information. And then we go ahead and have that information available to us. Okay, let's go to the, well, we pop into the portal, but it looks the same. Let's go to the safe. Safe. Now this is just what it says it is. I was at a estate sale a couple of days ago, and in that house the man had 2 gun safes, huge gun safes, and he also had a personal safe. So this is the kind of a thing you would put in here. Or if you had an off-site safe, for example, if you had one at a savings company, or say for example you had some gold bullion or silver or whatever like that, and you were storing it at a certain place and they allowed you to have a safe, then you could have the combination and everything for that safe and information about it. Another one would be if you stored your firearms at a place like a gun range, and they allowed you to secure the gun range and had a lock on a, say, a padlock or some kind of a lock on it, you could have the combination for the padlock. So this is generally safes, no matter what you use, a gun safe or whatever it is, located in whatever place you put it. And that, for case, you can see up here where it says location is built in to the garage, and it's the home safe. And you can just go ahead and enter the information for all the different kinds of safes you may come up with. Now, for each individual person in your family, you may have an individual record where each one of them may have, say for example, this application is used by the whole family, and they have different things and investments and stuff like that. You would create a new record for each individual one of those individual persons, and then all the other information for them in that particular set of screens. And let's very quickly go down through the individual screens. For each application like login, you have a list view. And I was saying those are typically all looking about the same, so I have a banking list view. Now obviously these fields would be filled out if I wanted to add all that data, so you could pick and choose through the records when you're in that screen. So there's nothing extraordinary about them. I actually have 2 on the internet website logins. So if I go back down here, I can say list investment list views, and you can see RA and the actual account ID. And let's go to the last one, which is the safes. I've only got 1 listed right now. So that kind of gives you an idea. Now all this data is stuff that you're going to overwrite so that you put your own data in it. And the last screen we're going to be going to, I do not have anything installed as far as the videos yet, but when this video and the other ones are completed, they'll all show up in the video screen so that you can go ahead and have access to them, and they will show you the individual videos that we're looking at here. So this will cover the basis of the app and all the screens that are in there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to discuss how to use the video help screen, so you'll have more information that is just obvious to you when you click and open the screen. Okay, well thank you, and go to the next video, which would be for the app map, and go to the video help, and we'll explain all that stuff. Thank you.